personal judgment is actually a very damaging emotion. It's also a shutdown emotion, in that it shuts down underlying emotions. So if I'm judging an emotion, let's look at a very simple situation. I start to cry, and instantly I stop crying because I'm judging my crying. I feel that crying means that I'm what? A sook.
Not manly.
Not manly. What else? Weak. Can you see straight away that if I feel any of those emotions, then I'm going to judge my crying straight away, and that's going to shut down the crying. So I've found myself that judgment emotions have caused me huge amounts of problems. Right? And why they've caused me so much trouble is because, and this is what happens, is that you have a causal emotion come up. It pops its head up, if you like, through the law of attraction. But then you judge it. So now you've got to deal with all the emotions about your judgment, and then you've still got to deal with the causal emotion that you were judging. Right? So it is much better if you can actually work through the emotion you have within yourself as to why you want to judge yourself. And that emotion generally is an emotion of deep personal shame about something. If you can work through that emotion first, then often you stop judging yourself with all your other emotions. Right? I found myself working through that emotion right down the end of my progression, and so I got this double whammy every time I dealt with emotion. I first had to work through all my judgment about what I felt about myself. So it's like, I'd make a mistake, and then I'd judge myself for making a mistake. I shouldn't have made a mistake. Right? And so instead of addressing the emotion of what caused me to make a mistake, I'm judging my mistake now. And so everything got doubled up then. And it was so frustrating until I learned myself that I needed to stop judging myself. And I needed to just, judgment is not humility. Judgment is saying, this emotion you're feeling is not on me. That's what judgment does to you, basically.
That's like anger.
It's like anger, but it's a different form of control. There are a lot of controlling emotions that shut down you. One of them is guilt. Guilt is another one of those emotions that shut you down. Judgment, anger, fear of punishment. There's lots of those kind of things that shut you down emotionally. And what I've found myself is that I didn't know about this at the time, but what I find now is if you can deal with those emotions, the shutdown emotions, then the other emotions are dealt with a lot more easily. But if you try to deal with the causal emotion and every time have to deal with one of these other emotions as well, then it gets really complicated really